3, 2, 1.
You ready?
You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Hope you're all having a great start to your weekend, your week, whenever you're checking this out. I've got a review for the latest Gina Prince Bythewood film in The Woman King. You, of course, know Bythewood from several things, like The Secret Life of Bees, which she directed and was a screenwriter on, Beyond the Lights. The Old Guard, she went ahead and directed that. That was, I can't remember if that made my top 10 list or if it was an honorable mention. I think it made it, but I adore The Old Guard, and I can't wait to see what happens with The Old Guard 2, which they're currently shooting right now. So, huge fan of hers. This, of course, stars Queen Viola Davis, who we know from so many things. Fences, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Giving Voice. I think I said Fences, but Widows. Obviously, she's Amanda Waller in the DCEU. So, real quick, just to kind of get this out of the way, I am going to keep this review kind of short. I adore this movie. I understand it's not historically accurate. I understand that there's some licensing taken. But what really did bother me about this movie is that people were being so shitty about this movie. I think for no fucking reason at all. Because I've had so many people try to convince me that Elvis is a good fucking movie, and that movie takes so many goddamn liberties, and people just give that shit a fucking pass. And I'll be the asshole to say it. It comes across as, oh man, this is a predominantly woman of color film starring women of color with a woman of color behind the camera. I wonder why we're going to judge this fucking differently. And I know some people will go, I just didn't like the movie. If you're telling me that that doesn't come into play more often than not for why people aren't liking this movie, I think you're 1,000% fucking wrong, for those people who aren't liking it. I dug the hell out of this. So let's just kind of get into it here. Viola Davis plays, Nausicaa, I believe is how you say it. She is the leader of the Agoge, I believe is how you say it, which is actually the influence for the Dora Milaje in the Black Panther comics, fun fact. So this takes place in the African kingdom of Dahomey Dahomey? I'm gonna go with Dahomey. Dahomey would just be funny, but Dahomey in the 1800s. And so basically, and I did get this out of the way to start the film, they talk about the fact that they were selling slaves, their own people, into slavery. And so people going that the film's not historically accurate, yeah, you're not wrong, but at the same time, it gets what I think most people's biggest gripe would be out of the way immediately, and talks about it at multiple points. John Boyega's King Gezo brings it up multiple points about how he wants to be a nation and rule this nation without using the slave trade. And what's so fascinating about that is how that's constantly brought up. So obviously we have the whole tribe that the Agoge are fighting against, which is probably the main plot. But the other plot, okay, so there's a couple plots in this movie. That's probably the main plot, the Agoge fighting their rival, this rival tribe. It's probably the main fight or the main conflict. But then we have this woman who doesn't want to be sold. How do you want to say this woman? This young woman in Thuso Badu is what I'm gonna go with. She plays Nawi, and what's interesting about Nawi is that she has a backstory that the film does a good job of filling in as the film goes on. What I love about Nawi is that her dad goes ahead and is fucking abusive as shit to her because he's trying to go ahead and sell her off to this rich husband, and she goes, fuck that, I'm my own person, I don't want to do this. And one of the cooler action beats in this movie, first off, the film opens up with an action scene that kicks so much fucking ass, and considering this movie is PG-13, I gotta give him a lot of credit for actually making the film really intense. And I mean, you see blood at some points, but the film does a good job of getting what's happening across without it having to be R-rated. It's a really fine line that the film walks, but it walks it absolutely beautifully when it comes to the action. That's one thing I'll say about Gina Price Bythewood in direction here. I think the Old Guard was a natural progression to how she's grown as a director. Because even the stuff in Love and Basketball is really well shot. This really feels like her at the height of her powers. It feels like everything she's done before this has led to this moment for her. And I'm really happy for her because this movie will get Oscar buzz. Viola Davis will get a Best Actress nomination. This film most likely will get best costume design as well. Maybe even best cinematography. It might get that, but this film just screams Oscar contender. Lashana Lynch, who plays Izogi, she is so much fucking fun in this movie. She's funny. She's charming. It was so cool to see her in something like No Time to Die and see how she can be this incredible screen presence and go toe to toe with someone like Daniel Craig even. And of course, you know her from Captain Marvel as well. But I was so happy to see her in this, and she takes Nawi kind of under her wing, and she has some amazing comedic beats. All the action stuff with her kicks so much ass, and she's a strong black woman in this. And the thing I love about the way how this is shot, you get these amazingly cool, just sweeping shots of Africa. The way that the costumes are shot in frame, and the way that the light is like reflecting off of costumes and not reflecting off of certain things. It's so beautifully shot, and you feel like you're there. It's really, the location almost feels like its own character, which I love about this movie, and it just kept me so engaged. It made me feel like I was really there watching all this. Other character I want to bring up is Sheila Atom, who plays Amenza. Her and Namiska have this really cool back and forth, and not oh my gosh, I'm gonna get butchered in this. Oh my god, Naniska. There we go. That's what I'm gonna go with. She and Amenza have this really cool back and forth as far as she feels like the only person that Naniska respects, and the way that she talks to her, not everyone gets to talk to her like that. And Viola Davis plays that aspect of a hierarchy within the Warriors group. She plays it really well. It's something that extends into certain subplots as the film goes on. You can probably figure out what's happening with Nawi and Naniska. You'll probably figure it out about 30 minutes in. Like, I was kind of sitting there going like, well, okay, I think it might be this. When it is revealed what's kind of going on there, I went, wow, I really like the way you actually executed that. But then this actually gets into my biggest issue. I dug the subplots that the movie goes ahead and brings along, but there's this one where Nawi falls in love with this brother named Malik, who's played by Jordan Bolger. I believe it's Malik. And what's really irritating about that is just that cliche, oh, I'm a woman who discovered her independence. Oh shit, here's a dude. And I was talking to Nick over on the Afternoon Tune. Shout out to Nick and Josh over there. I was talking to him tonight about it, and he was going, well, that was just something that I just kind of checked out of whenever the film was on. And I was never checked out on it because I get what they were trying to do. I just didn't think that it hit in the way it wanted to at points, but it never really took me out of the movie. I was like, this is fine. This is fine for what it is. But if you'd gotten rid of that subplot, I think you would have had more time to focus on the Warriors, which I think this film does a great job of doing anyway. But you can never have too much character development, really. So I was again, not enough to break the movie for me, but it is like the one gripe that I would give. There is one other thing I want to bring up. I know I talked about the fight scenes or the stunt work, but the last, I would say, 45 minutes of this movie is just a fucking blast. And I think the first 2/3 do a really good job of setting the table for what's coming. And the stakes are raised in ways and for reasons that I just won't get into here. But as we get to the climax of the film, it does just ramp up in a way that I went, this is fucking awesome. It really does feel like it earns where it ends up. You could do a sequel to this. It was so cool to see John Boyega getting a chance to show out again and show why he is one of the best actors of his generation. I cannot wait for Attack the Block 2, but I've heard Breaking is amazing. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm such a fan of Boyega, and I'm so happy he gets this. Playing King Gezo, he has this incredible, this incredible just authority about him. When he speaks, you're just kind of sitting there going, damn, he speaks with such conviction. He feels truly like a king. And it's so frustrating to think back with those Star Wars films, how he's so great in the first one, and then they just don't do anything with him outside of when he's talking to Oscar Isaacs, which Finn deserved more, and it just sucks that the ball was dropped with his character. But outside of that, I've talked about the action. I think the performances are top notch. Outside of that one subplot, that's really my biggest gripe about it. I love the score. I love the cinematography. I love the way that it felt like everyone, as you young kids say, knew the assignment. Everyone fits the role perfectly. I was so happy for Viola Davis. She will get an Oscar nomination for this. I'd like to see Lashana Lynch get one for supporting, honestly. She's just as great as Viola, in my opinion, for what she needs to do and what her character needs to do. So, this is a A+. It's not quite a fan-fucking-tastic because of the subplot there. I dug the hell out of this. I cannot wait to own this, and I can't wait to watch it again. The Woman King, what'd y'all think about it? Have you seen it? What'd you think? Let us know in the comments. You can follow yours truly on the Twitter at JHunterRealPineapple. You can follow us on Facebook at The Real Pineapple and Real Pineapple Games. That's REEL Pineapple. Go ahead and like those. You can find us most places you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts at The Real Pineapple. You can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam, just at Black Shazam, and you can follow me on TikTok at Black Shazam 775. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We're gonna have the Real Spooky series kicking off here next week, actually, since it is actually October 1st when I'm recording this. So a few movies we're going to have reviews for this Halloween month. We're going to have reviews up for Full Bars, the Bob's Burgers episode. I'm going to talk with my friend Cassandra about that, Lord willing. Really excited to talk about that episode. I love that episode of Bob's Burgers. We're going to be talking about the Scream franchise, reviewing all those films. I've never seen the Scream films, so I'm actually really excited to watch those and review them with my first time guest Buck, my friend Buck, who is obsessed with those movies. We're going to have reviews up for The House of a Clock in Its Walls, Casper, Do Revenge, and some other stuff. Halloween Ends as well, and Halloween Kills, and the original Halloween. So, yeah, keep your eye out for those reviews. I'll be getting into that more as those start to come out. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. And yeah, we will talk to you soon.